Kermit the Frog here. See my little rendition of Kermit the Frog from his little news thing on Sesame Street in celebration of their 50th year anniversary. Oh, I used to love that show. I watched it every day. Kermit the Frog, Oscar the Grouch, all the others. And of course the people that was on there too. You know, I just love the show. But anyway, guess what, guys? Welcome back to another exciting, head-scratching episode of I messed that up. Let's try that again. Let's rewind this back. Welcome back to another exciting, head-scratching episode of Insane Disappearances. And I don't mean that insane guy, Crazy Eddie from up north, who actually did go nuts. But welcome back to another one, and I got a special. I want to say what I want to call this bittersweet information. I got a comment from one of my viewers last night telling me about a young man whose remains was found in a place called Dickinson. Now, I read this. Wait. Oh, darn it. Hold on. I screwed up somewhere. I gotta go back. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Anyway, this happened in Dickinson, North Dakota, as far as his remains being found. And at the top of the story, it says, missing since 2013, Texas boy's remains found in Dickinson. Now, this young man, to recap again, human in Dickinson, North Dakota. Human remains discovered in Dickinson in 2018 has been identified as 15-year-old Edward Stubbs, also known as Ashton LeBron of El Paso, Texas. Okay. Now, it says right here, a statement released Monday, September 23rd by the Stark County Sheriff's Office confirmed that Stubbs was last known to be working in in the Dickinson area and was reported missing on June 17, 2013. Dickinson police launched an investigation that same day. According to police, a skull was discovered on December 11th of 2018 by a resident who was surveying private land on the northeastern part of Dickinson. The state forensics office in Bismarck later confirmed that the skull was human and belonged to an unidentified white male, possibly in his teens or early 20s. A follow-up search conducted on September 5th was organized by the Bureau of Criminal Investigations, aka BCI, is part of the investigation into the remains. The Dickinson Police Department, along with representatives from the North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigations and Stark County Sheriff's Office, gathered in a field near the southwest water holding tank at the base of Radar Base Hill in northeast Dickinson to conduct a follow-up search of the area. Now, the circumstances surrounding the death of Stubbs is an ongoing investigation being conducted by the ND Bureau of, which is North Dakota, of Criminal Investigations, Stark County Sheriff's Office, and Dickinson Police Department. The sheriff's, of course, release, the sheriff's release concluded. Now, if you have any information about this case, call or text Crime Stoppers at 701-840-6100 or 6108, or contact the Stark County Sheriff's Office or the Dickinson Police Department's Dispatch Center at 701-456 7759. Now, that's pretty much it because this just hit me last night as far as the information. So there is not really too much information on the situation dealing with his investigation on his death. Now, that is, I'd have to do a recap later, like probably maybe tonight, depending on what time I get home, or I'll just wait until Friday to do a recap and update again about this young man. Because I would have to go back and look at the video that I posted about him. And if you go to Google and type in his name, you'll see my video in the selection area where he has all the information on his disappearance. So, you know, my videos have made Google. You know, but yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the only information they have on him. But if there's any more information on the investigation into his death, I will definitely do a follow-up video, and I will definitely give you even more information on what happened to him and kind of do a recap on how he disappeared in the first place and where. So I'm gonna do some recapping on that later on today. You know, I'll listen to the video and just to see exactly what I said about him, and then and then I will just make sure that you guys get all the best information that you could ever get about this young man's case. And glad that they found his remains, and glad that he can finally be put to rest, even though that's anyway. But yeah, so the family can finally rest on knowing that they found his remains, and they can put him to rest, and then they can finally rest. Because I'm pretty sure they've been on pins and needles the entire time trying to figure out where he is, how he disappeared, why he disappeared, what was he doing, where was he at. I think they knew where he was, but just the fact that he just vanished without a trace, it was just like, wow, okay. So not to say, that's the part that always gets me about these crazy M441 cases. You know, it's like, okay, you're in an area, hanging out with your friends, you're doing whatever, then most of them, they decide to walk home. Why they want to do that, I'll never know. Now, if they're just up the street, that's one thing, because I know when I was growing up in New Jersey, I walked everywhere. We didn't have city buses in the area where I lived at that time. I mean, when I moved down here to Georgia, they didn't have city buses. You only had them, like, I think in Atlanta, but I live in, like, Lawrenceville. So the fact that we didn't have city buses was kind of crazy. But then I had a car, so it really didn't make a difference. I stopped riding city buses ever since I left New York and New Jersey. But you know, when I lived in Virginia, that was more like shuttle buses. There was no city buses at that time. But anyway, most of these places probably don't even have city buses, so they don't get on the bus to go home. They walk, they behind all the way back to their house, and somewhere between point A and point B, they poof out of existence. And end up, well, not out of existence, but they poof out of the area where they were, and then they end up in a body of water, or they end up somewhere in the area where they never should have been in the first place, or probably okay. The examiners and the searchers realized that this is a pretty drastic area as far as density and fauna. So how could he even make it in that area without getting snagged by a bunch of twigs or whatever else? And he probably got spiders and everything else in these areas. And yet you're there, and the only thing that's left behind is your remains. So that's just always been a weird part for me. I mean, how do you go from point A to point B without having any evidence on how you got there in the first place? It's like people always say, it's like someone was picked up off the ground so their feet won't be touching the ground, leaving footprints or drag prints, and then they just go where they go, and then bam, they put them right where they are. Here's the problem with that. There's no tire tracks. There's no sign of any other footsteps. So the only thing you could think of would be somehow they either teleported there by some other means, or they were picked up by a UFO, or I like to call them probes or spacecraft, or just a disc, because if you say UFO, that's just saying that you don't know what it really is. Just call it how you see it. If you see a disc-shaped craft, just call it a disc, a flying disc, or I mean, scientists would call it a linear spacecraft. But I'm not gonna get into that. That's a whole nother story. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about people who vanish in the national parks. But it's always part of that. That's the thing. The only way anyone could even go from point A to point B without leaving any kind of tracks whatsoever, let alone evidence of them going into that area, you would have to be picked up from above and carried to a certain spot after they're done with you and drop you down there. Now, is it the typical I need your sperm to create more of our species with some human DNA because you guys are so unique? Maybe, I don't know. I've heard about that a lot, where people, like men, will talk about how they've been abducted and this arc-like device comes over their body. And next thing you know, they have an instant orgasm. They, and then they take the sperm. Next thing you know, they have a half-breed child who is part interdimensional being. Just saying, this is the stuff I read about all the time. This is the stuff I go into, other than just people who mysteriously vanish in national parks. So that is definitely a possibility. The only problem is you never know if it actually happens or not. So you just going off of speculation alone. But the evidence is there. It shows you. Here they are walking back to the house or walking back to their dorm. Yet between point A and point B, at some point they are gone. They vanish, or something takes them, and then they do whatever they do with them, and they drop them. They literally drop them down, and they're probably already dead because they probably, I won't even say they sucked the life out of them, but they probably did something that caused them to die. And their methods are way harsher than ours because of our, our unique bodies or DNA. So whatever it is they do to them, probably it messes with us to the point where we actually die. I don't know what they do. I don't know if I want to find out because I don't want to end up like them somewhere, So I don't know. This is just speculation alone because nobody really knows what actually happens. It just leaves behind a very weird scene that makes you think like that. So if it's making you think like that, then maybe that's just what it is. But people can't go by that alone because they need evidence. The evidence is right in front of your face, man. What the heck? Seriously. It's telling you. The scene alone is telling you. They were walking here. And then all of a sudden, and then after that, poof. There they are in a place where they never should have been in the first place. Because let's just say you walking on this side of the area where you in. Then all of a sudden, boom, you end up over here. Either near or in a body of water. And I'm pretty sure when they can't say they found, because most when people are found, they're found fully intact but dead with no cause of death. Yet socks are missing, or they have their socks on. Pants are missing, but you have your shoes and your socks on and your underwear. Who is that elaborate to remove the shoes, remove the socks? Because it'd be hard to get some pants off of a person if you don't remove the shoes. That's just the way it is. I put my shoes on one leg at a time. I have my shoes off in order to do that. It's just basic fit. No, I can't even say physics, but just basic, everyday logic. Okay. Now they remove the shoes to take the pants off. They leave the underwear on. Then you put the shoes back on. Ties it up. Why the fuck would you do that? It makes no sense. But it is a good way to confuse people. It's a good way to throw people off and to make them more confused than they thought they already were, because they can't figure out why the person died. But then you'd be like, okay, why are the pants gone but everything else is still there? How did they even get them off in the first place? Did the pants phase through the body? Did they remove the shoes just to get the pants off and then put the shoes back on and tie up the shoes just to confuse the fuck out of you? Maybe. I'm just saying. These are weird things that happen to these people when they're found dead without a cause of death, with the body fully intact. I mean, most of the time you find them within maybe 30 days, maybe 50. They search the same area 50 times over. And the 51st day, bam, there they are. Not like they fucking with our heads, man. Whatever and whoever this is. They know that we are those kind of people. They look for evidence to find out what's happened to these people. So they say, okay, we're going to really mess with their head. We're going to give them some really crazy evidence that's going to really keep them even more confused. So they do little things like that. Like Christopher Tompkins. Most people say that he was abducted by a Bigfoot because there are Bigfoots in the area where he disappeared, which is in Savannah, Georgia. Now, this man, who only left behind a pocket full of change on the ground and a lone boot dangling from a barbed wire fence. Then they find the other boot 900 yards away from the fence on this person's property near a swamp. Why would you separate the shoes like that? Now, that lets you know if it was a Bigfoot, Bigfoots are crafty and they're smart. Smarter than we thought they were, because they were smart enough to take the shoes off, put one of them on the fence, and put the other one 900 yards away near a swamp on this guy's property, or gal's property. I don't know. I'm just saying. These are very elaborate disappearances where they leave behind these weird circumstances that make your mind explode, because you be like, how does this happen? Just like, perfect example. Okay. Jared Adadero. Okay. He disappears. 4 years later, his remains are found at the very peak of a peak with a canyon. They only find the top of his cranium, a molar that was placed on a log with straw on top of it. Then they see the shoes. Shoes look pristine, like they just were taken right off the showroom floor. The clothes, the sweater was tattered because of birds pecking at it to make a nest. Holes all in it. The sweatpants were turned inside out. So that means somebody was trying to remove this boy's pants, or sweatpants. Question is, why? Why the heck would you do that? Were you trying to molest that young boy? I don't know. But I would think that's the reason why the pants were trying to be taken off, because they pulled them off from the rim near the hips, and then they just pulled them off like this. So that's the reason why they were upside down. They were inside out. Unless he did that in order for him to take a piss. Maybe. I don't know. That could be it. Maybe he was trying to remove his pants so he can go to the bathroom. Because most kids, they pull their pants down and, they're dangling on their ankles just like everybody else who takes a piss. Or, well, not take a piss, but take a crap. I don't know. I mean, they didn't say they found feces in the area, so that couldn't have been what it was. They didn't find any urine samples in the area. They probably would after 4 years, maybe. I don't know. But still, what could have removed his pants the way it was they were removed? They were inside out. Why would they be inside out? Biggest question of all. Now, Jerry Adadero, his father, Alan Adadero, he did an interview on YouTube. And he basically told them everything that happened from his perception of what he actually saw. Like the helicopter that was searching for him eventually crashed, and the 2 helicopter pilots died, which is a very common thing in these cases where the helicopter somehow malfunctions and then they crash. Just like this woman who said she was in the mountains and she was trying to get back home. Every time she tried to call 911, she kept being sent to some offshoot 911 thing, and it would never go through. Then finally it came through. The rescue team came in with a helicopter. Then she gets in it. They take off. They crash. Every helicopter that's involved in all these cases either suffers some kind of malfunction or they crash and die. Crash and burn or whatever. And he said that. The helicopter that was actually looking for his young boy crashed in the middle of that search. And he saw, and I think when he was at home, he saw people running towards the area where the helicopter crashed. That's the weirdest thing. Like there's some kind of energy field that disrupts the mechanism of a helicopter. Like the navigation system where it starts spinning around like crazy. Like the the Flight 19 crew where they said the same thing. The meter, the needle was like spinning like crazy all over the place. So they really couldn't figure out where they was. They didn't realize they were flying upside down and they crashed into the ocean. See, that's the same thing that happened to one of the Kennedys who was in that Cessna plane in Nantucket with his, I think it was Maine. I think it was. I don't know. I think that's part of Maine. I'm not sure. But anyway, they were flying upside down because there was some kind of illusion thing going on where the sky was brighter than the ocean, or the ocean was brighter than the sky. So that made them think they was upside down. But if you was already right set up, how you figured you was upside down? It's not like your girlfriend or your fiance's head was dangling upside down. That's the part that got me the most. He said that they thought they were, from the report, the fact that they found him upside down, he must have thought he was upside down. So he flipped the plane over. And next thing you know, they slammed into the ocean. But if your wife or girlfriend's head was not upside down in the process, how can you realize that you was upside down? I'm just saying. But anyway, guys. That's it. That's the end of that story, or the rest of these other stories. So I'm going to get out of here because I got to get ready for work. I got to get food together. I got to get stuff together. I got to get everything else together. I got to get some more cases together for you guys for the next episode of Insane Disappearances. Oh, yeah, because I'm stronger than ever. and I'm gonna keep on going. I ain't gonna let nobody stop me. I ain't gonna let nobody scare me. Even if I talk about stuff they don't want me to talk about, I don't care. I'm gonna say it anyway. Heck with you. Kiss my grits. You heard it. Alice. Love that show. 80s classic. I'm just. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. And I'm gonna get out of here the way I always do. And you know how I do it. So you see it every video. You wanna see it again? Of course you wanna see it because you watch me. So here we go. Aloha with the shaka sign. Mahalo with the shaka sign. And ahiho, which means till we meet again on the next video of Insane Disappearances. You know, the head scratching Insane Disappearances. My show. Mr. Insane Disappearances guy. Bye-bye.